What's happening? Good morning to you, good afternoon, whatever time it is. It's Monday morning here in Colorado, and wow, right on, it's time to start another week. And it's going to be a great week. I'm really looking forward to it. I've got lots of fun stuff planned for the week, and yeah, so here we go. Today I'm going to spend a little time featuring the Bergantino bass rig again, and we're going to dig into discussing a little bit about the HDN 212 cabinet. I've done some other demos with the HDN 210, which is over here, but today we're listening to the 212, and I've had this now for about a week and a half, and I took it out on some gigs last weekend, and man, what an amazing cab! In terms of a standalone 212, like do the job with one cab, this thing is the cat's meow. It really gets a great full and clear, punchy, deep sound, and it fills up the performance space really well. I did two gigs. One was with the PA where the bass was in the subs, and one was just a regular kind of pigs on sticks gig, we call it, where it's just a vocal PA, you know, on stands, and the bass it has to fill the whole room. It did an amazing job, and I got a lot of compliments from people that were out in the room, various different places, standing around in the room. One of them being my wife. And, you know, she's heard me play more than anybody, so I really take what she has to say about how I sound very seriously, because she's heard me so many times. She's also a bass player as well. So, yeah, I can't say anything but great things about it. It's much bigger, obviously, than the 210 cabinet, but it's still manageable, and I have no problem picking it up, you know, carrying it around, you know, kind of, I can pick it up with one handle and carry it. It's easier with two handles, of course. And then the head that, you know, I have here is the Bergantino Forte. This is the head that is a little bit more on the simple side than their B-amp head. For me, it works out great because the controls are so simple. And the settings that I have on it right now are just completely flat. Well, let's say at noon, all the EQ controls, there's 4 EQ controls, I have them all at noon. The thing that I really love about this head, one of the things that I really love about it, is the variable ratio compressor. I love the sound of it. It's a very musical compressor, and just in terms of, for passive basses particularly, when you crank it up really high, it sounds really great. And that's what I'm playing right now. This is a 1975 Fender Jazz Bass. It has the hum-canceling Nordstrand split coil jazz bass pickups in it. So in each pickup there's 2 coils, one on the bottom, one on the top, and they act like a humbucker in the sense that they cancel all noise out. So I can switch between the front pickup and the back pickup, and it is absolutely noise-free. And that is a beautiful thing on a passive jazz bass. Anybody that has a passive jazz bass knows that they can be noisy as hell when you go to the back pickup. That was just the back pickup. Here's both. And now just the front pickup. in terms of an old, classic kind of honest vintage jazz-based tone, these pickups sound amazing, and this amplifier is a wonderful complement. The thing about it that makes it such a good complement is it's just kind of truly amplifying what's coming off of the bass and what's coming off of my hands. There's no like specific, what's the word they use, burned in kind of amp tone that I can sense. You know what I mean? It's not like overly hi-fi. It's not you know, it's not doing anything but just sounding neutral and transparent. And that's really what I like best in any amplifier, and this particular one does it really, really well. Is that with a digital amplifier, this thing is not, it doesn't sound harsh. When I dig in hard with the, you know, with this vintage kind of a passive sound, it starts to get a little bit of grit, a little bit of musical grit and sassiness and attitude and personality. And that's a really, really great thing, because that's one of the key factors of what makes a vintage bass so cool, is when you play them really, really hard, the way that they start to kind of open up and get throaty and get kind of you know, sort of aggressive sounding and start to get that that throaty kind of bite. Well, with a digital amplifier, that can cause a problem sometimes. Although this one, I think that it probably has mostly to do with that there's enough power. There's enough headroom within the power module that it can really handle the transient dynamics of digging in really hard. So there's my video for you for today, taking a look at the Bergantino Forte head and the HDN 212 cabinet. I absolutely dig this cabinet, and for those of you wondering, is this good enough to be, or loud enough, or will it perform well enough to be a standalone, the one cabinet that you take on your medium to bigger gigs? Definitely yes. The answer is yes. Sounds fantastic. It's maneuverable, you know, and transportable without too much trouble. No question about that. And it's lightweight. I think it's 48 pounds, okay? But one thing I want to mention is that it doesn't feel lightweight, meaning it is built like a tank. It's solid, it's stiff, it's sturdy. You sense no flex in it whatsoever, you know what I mean? The grill is very stout and sturdy, and the cabinet is very stiff. And that's really, really, really important with any speaker enclosure, especially these days now that we've moved into a new generation of lightweight cabinets. The materials that are being used are being they're trying to find ways to use lighter materials, okay? Well, sometimes lighter materials can mean more flimsy. So it's come a long way. And this cabinet is a perfect example, because the way that it's braced internally and the materials that are used create a really, really stiff and rigid box. And then having drivers that are specifically custom matched to this cabinet and engineered to work perfectly with this cabinet, that's where you get the performance. That's where you get the efficiency. That's where you get the fast delivery and the good low-end response and the tight air-moving bottom and all the things that we need from from a base cabinet. Just as a point of reference, there's a lot of important engineering things that go into the materials used, the bracing, and the way that the cabinet is put together. It needs to be really stiff, and this one is absolutely killing it in that regard. So thanks for watching this video. Thanks for watching all the videos, and we'll see you next time. Right on, friends. Peace.